this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to the season premiere of the local show here on GrassRoots Community Network. I'm Eric Scarvin, your host. Tan, shaven, and ready, you guys, for another season here on the show. We're going to run our summer series June, July, August, September. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys are having a great off season as we work our way into summer. What a gorgeous time of year. I hope you're enjoying it, guys. And thank you for all our viewers tuning in on YouTube. I hope you enjoy the local show. We shoot it each Wednesday here live in Aspen, Colorado at the Red Brick Center for the Arts. This is a great show. First-time guests, although two of them have been on individually in the past. We've got the Marolt brothers and son, Roger Marolt, son Max Marolt, and Mike Marolt. Welcome back to the show, guys, and welcome first time Max.
Awesome to be here.
Awesome to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I mean, I know you guys are pretty much doing it for the cookies.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
We're going to make, even though you started to dig into those, we're going to make you earn those for the most part. And we've also got my dog Marley on the set. Hopefully we'll get a shot of you, girl, my co-host. So thanks for being here, guys. How's your, Roger, we'll start with you. How's your kind of spring going? And
Spring's
are you excited for summer?
I'm excited for summer, but spring's my favorite time of year, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, I love springtime.
Over
here.
fall?
Yeah. Yeah, the brilliant greens.
In what way?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's more hopeful. The days are getting longer.
Because the mountains are coming alive.
Everything's coming alive.
Days are getting longer.
Yeah, and in the fall, I love the fall, but man, every day it just gets a little darker.
Good point.
A little colder. It's,
But the colorful part of the day is really colorful.
Yeah, but it's really colorful right now with the leaves light green, the grass all coming up, the flowers, the sky.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Love it.
What about you, Max? You like loving springtime? Or?
Yeah, I think I'm a spring guy too. I like the days getting longer. It's a fun season to chase snow and get some turns in, and then transition onto the bike and running and hiking. You can kind of do it all in the spring.
Yeah, great time for winter sports and summer sports.
Yeah, you get that nice crossover.
What about you, Mike? Are you having
You
a
know,
good time?
I kind of like fall.
Yeah.
You know, it's end of the summer, and getting ready to go skiing. And, you know.
That's the thing. It's like you're always excited for as great as the season is.
Yeah.
It's super exciting for the next season.
Well, and you get those warm days and cool nights. It's just hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate because, like, my brother I was mentioning before the show is a year younger, lives in California where they don't really have change of season at all, unless it fluctuates 15 degrees or something.
Yeah.
And it's like 70 instead of 85 or whatever.
Yeah.
But the change of seasons here are amazing. But the mountain's coming alive every day, especially after we get that rain.
Yeah.
And you just see it go bank with green.
Yeah.
Like on the trails
really
and the
quickly.
wildflowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Desert larkspur in the Hunter Creek Valley yesterday, that dark purple that just was on like a carpet on the Hunter Creek Valley floor yesterday.
It's a good time
So
to be in
pretty.
Aspen, no doubt. And
But you know what?
like crowds.
It's great to be here all the time.
Yeah.
It is.
It's really hard. I mean, there's so much temptation to push the seasons.
Yeah.
Like when you're into spring a little bit, then you want to get into summer sports, and then in summer you want to get into fall, and
Right.
So I think if you do that though, you can kind of end up missing the best parts of all the seasons.
You
True.
can.
Like people start skiing when it's still fall, and then by springtime when it's really good, they're done. They're in Moab riding the bikes when the weather's questionable, and then they get sick of that when it gets really good there.
Dilemma.
And then they come back here for summer stuff, and it's kind of crappy here. And you gotta just kind of chill and relax and let the seasons come to you. I think.
Well, right, because you're anxious, so you start the next season kind of early.
Yeah.
Then by the end of the actual season, you're like ski season. For
Yeah,
example,
you got to
you're kind of
exercise
burnt.
some self-control.
Good. Yeah, patience is a virtue. in
Patience.
that.
Patience.
Yeah.
That's
Live
right.
in the season, so to speak.
Live in the season. I like it.
This is so nice though too, like fall, because it's quiet. Right?
Yeah.
You can literally have the trails
Yeah.
to yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
magical.
It is.
Once we know it hits July and August, this place lights up like the fireworks on the 4th of
well,
July.
that's
crazy.
That's about a week or two away with food and wine coming.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We'll get the food and wine blip, and that'll give us a little kind of taste of what we can expect in July and August.
Yeah.
Which isn't my favorite part of Aspen, but I mean, I do get it. I mean, I'm a hotel restaurant guy, so I mean, you got to like the food and
Yeah.
the drinking aspects, especially the free parties off to the side, which is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I don't go into the tents anymore. I mean, we're What is it, like $3,000 to walk into the tent
Oh
sale?
yeah, I don't know. I've never been in the tent.
Crazy. I got in way back in the day when I was in the hotel business. Fess Parker, who played Daniel Boone, you guys might be old enough to
Oh, I
remember this, had a winery.
Still does.
And he stayed at the Sardi house. So him and one of his assistants, when they checked out early, gave my mom gave me 2 passes. Nice. I became Fess Parker's assistant, and then another lady was my mom, and we went into the tent, which used to be sparkling wines, champagne, and dessert.
Yeah.
That was the last day of food and wine.
That's
the only way I got in was
was
Fess Parker's passes.
I went to Food and Wine. It was one of the first ones in Aspen, and there were about 24 people.
Wow.
So it was kind of a big deal for the 24 people.
Right.
But it was tiny, and I was
my
working
gosh.
at the Gant, so I'd drive them around, and they gave us bottles of wine at the end, and it was just so low key. It was.
What
really
year?
cool.
Do you remember the year or was approximate time? Was that
I think
80s
that was
or
the
90s?
80s, about 85, 86, somewhere in there.
See, it's fun because we
Yeah.
can go back with you guys. 5 generations.
6.
Which is actually
6 for me.
6 generations
6
now.
with
The
him.
6 sitting here on the
Yeah.
couch. But it's fun to go back. And you know, that brings up something because, I mean, when your name is Marolt and you've got like open space named after you, other aspects around town. Let's let you start with this one, Mike. Do you feel like there's an obligation, or how do you honor the Marolt name with the legacy, or you just don't care about that, or how do you put that kind of into a perspective, I guess?
I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, it's interesting because the scenario of it is that the Marolt, my uncles, great uncles, and my grandfather owned the Marolt Holden Ranch, and that's why
Right.
that's called the Marolt Holden Museum. And that ranch was from Meadowood all the way to Roaring Fork River,
Wow.
between the bridges. And
Wow.
they sold that in about 1953 for $152,000.
Wow.
But you see Marolt Bridge, Marolt Housing, Marolt this, Marolt that. And people just think that you're a dynasty family, you know, rolling in money, and it's
Right,
it's
I'm
just
sure.
not true. And you know, it's funny because you think they sold what effectively is the golf course for $150,000.
It's like 150 million now or something.
Well, whatever it is,
Millions.
but
Billions.
I did a film and
Billions.
Roger hit it on the head. He said, you know, they saw the value in this place
Yeah.
way back then, and if they didn't do that, Roger, you know, Steve and Max and I, we wouldn't be here today. And you know, as my great uncle would tell me, $152,000 in 1952, that was a pile of money.
Yeah.
Well, our great uncle Steve always used to tell us too that the Marolts were too poor to leave, and so they had to sell the ranch in order to stay.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's a pretty pragmatic,
Yeah.
kind of practical
totally.
thing.
yeah.
Sell out.
Yeah.
And then, what did the guys do when they sold the property? Did they? They
Well,
bought into other parts
they were
of
pretty.
Aspen,
My grandpa died when he was young, so he didn't get a chance to do much anything with it. But and then my uncle Mike died very young too. So my uncle Steve was the one who ended up living here, and he was retired, and he just enjoyed the town. And
It's like you bought a house in town.
oh no, he
had
bought
a
a house. He had it since the 1930s.
Okay.
He had a house in the West End that he paid $300 for.
Paid the back taxes. It was abandoned,
Is that wild?
Yeah.
and he just moved in and lived there the rest of his life.
Wouldn't
That's
that
crazy.
be nice to get a house just paying back taxes these days?
Oh man! And you guys are numbers guys. You're all accountants,
Yeah.
CPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you officially a CPA, Max? or
I am a
what's your-
CPA.
You got those letters
yeah.
after your name there?
I went a little bit different path, though. I'm the controller over at the school district, so
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
the education guy who counts money.
Yeah. Which is cool because when I had seen you on the street, actually by Mark Ty's house.
yeah,
where we
that is
recently had a
true.
really nice demonstration about First Amendment freedom of speech. And
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. That you had gone into kind of that angle and also got housing through the school district.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
an amazing opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, the housing in this valley is just so tough, and luckily we are able to offer housing to some of our employees,
Yeah.
and I know some of the other governmental entities are able to do that too. But we need more. But consider myself very lucky to have gotten it.
So 6th generation. So what do you feel like? Do you feel you have to honor the name to any degree, Max? Like being a Marolt and having all this rich family history and contributing to the community in so many ways. Do you feel like you need to like any obligation to the community, or what do you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a legacy there, and I think that's kind of what drew me to the school. I mean, I have no idea how many Marolts have been through the public schools here, but it's a lot. We were actually digging through an old file cabinet and found my grandfather's grade book.
Wow.
Let's say he was a little more focused on skiing than school, but he
Oh, that shows his actual grades.
Yep.
Grade
But
book.
he did pass. So.
Okay. So C minuses and D's.
He got his Max got his BS and GS.
BS and GS. There you go. Not Super G. That wasn't really around.
That's
at
right.
that
No, that
point.
wasn't around then.
Yeah,
that
but
is wild.
I think it's a cool opportunity.
So yeah, dozens of Marolts through the schools.
Yeah,
I mean, you are a
yeah.
Catholic family after a while.
Yep. So it's cool to give back to the schools that we've all attended, and you can
Yeah.
go see a lot of Marolts in the high school when you walk through the hallways, all the old class portraits up there. It's also interesting being a Marolt too. The other day I was talking to a coworker, and I was actually bragging about how I've never gotten a parking ticket in Aspen.
Wow.
And she starts giving me a hard time. She's like, "Oh, I guess you've never had to use that name to get out of a parking ticket."
You guys still got your get out of jail card for free.
Yep.
He's young. He'll
Get out of
realize
your parking.
he'll realize when he gets a little bit older that doesn't help you.
Right.
That creates more
They're
problems.
going to go
than-
Marolt, you know.
yeah.
That's, in fact, they're going to nail you now
Yes,
for sure.
yeah.
Because you're a Marolt.
Yeah, just
Watch,
throw us
I'm
in jail.
probably getting one right now. I'll go out there and get my first parking ticket.
Yeah, you know, once you start bringing in the law of attraction, all of a sudden you
Yeah,
come out
true,
and there's
yeah.
that ticket.
I should
that
have
you
kept
were
my
just
lips
talking
sealed
about.
on that
Yeah,
one.
I'm thinking about. What about you, Roger? I mean, just briefly, like the family name and honoring the Marolt family.
Well, I'm proud of what our family has done in the community over the years, and it doesn't escape me. And my dad was a great role model. His thing with the community was he just took care of the older people.
Right.
Just out of love for the older people. He'd go shovel walks in the morning and help them with groceries, and so I've tried to carry that on a little bit, you know, and so yeah, there.
Will you go get my groceries this week?
You're close to
I'm
being
kinda
old.
old.
Yeah, I'll go get your
I'm
groceries.
semi-incapacitated.
You're right. Yeah, I'll go get them for you. You are old.
I'm down to under 50-mile road rides.
Do you
now.
want
I
him
mean,
to pay?
that's-
Do you want him to
Sub
pay
50.
for him too?
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, sure.
I mean, if it gives you a good feeling, I want you to have that good feeling
Yeah,
of giving.
I get
The
you.
more you give, the more you receive.
Well, we'll
That's
see.
right.
We'll see.
I mean, it's pretty simple math, really.
Yeah.
For the CPA, you should understand.
But speaking of Dad, he was a
Yeah.
county commissioner
Yeah.
and he was a councilman and he
Yeah.
was heavily involved in all that stuff. And he had a sense of pride about this place. And
Right.
and am I concerned about the legacy? Not really. But I do love Aspen. And I think I'm more grateful that I've been able to figure out how to have a career here,
Yeah.
to raise a couple of kids and to be married, and it's been a really good experience. And so I'm more grateful than feeling any kind of need to carry on a legacy or anything like that.
Well, I look at the
Right.
legacy as not like some kind of thing that it's not like an award, but it's like if you live in a place and you know you're going to live in a place and you know your kids are going to live in that place and maybe your grandkids are going to live in that place,
Right.
you just want to make it a great place.
Right.
You know,
You're obligated from that
that's the-
standpoint.
That's the legacy, and I think
keep it
that's
going.
And that's the legacy that I think my great grandparents, my grandparents, great aunts and uncles. I think that's what they were taking care of it for us. So I want to take care of it for the next generation. So that's the thing about being a local is
Right.
it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Where if you're going to be here a long time, you can't help but get involved because it's just what you love. You immerse yourself
Agreed.
in this life, and that's what you do.
Agreed. I think we try to contribute to the community however we can beyond our work, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's volunteerism or political activism, right, Mike? I mean, whatever you can involve yourself with to improve the community.
You just got to do the right thing. I mean, when the right thing presents itself, you just have to have enough, gratitude for, in the scheme of everything, for being placed in this place.
Right.
I didn't choose to be here. I mean, I was born into this place, And as I got older and started to work and raise my family, it's like, this is a place that I want to be. And, you know, if there's something that needs to be done that will make it a better place, you know,
Right.
I'm for it.
Sometimes it's just like writing a letter to the editor. And Roger, you have a column, you know, every week in the Aspen Daily News, and you can contribute that way.
Absolutely.
Because that's passion, it's solutions, it's, you know, offering what you can to make Aspen sustainable.
Yeah.
Number one, just as a community.
Yeah.
Let alone make it better, right? It's like, let's maintain the great things we have, which is really the locals. It's always been the locals, or let's just say the people and the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed in surveys even.
Yeah.
You know, it's the people in the mountains. So,
Yeah.
right, if we can help the people and or the mountains,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you go ski tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it could be, because, like, even when you share that, that's part of the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of what makes Aspen great, right? And when I saw you walking down the street with your skis, and I was like on my bike, I was like, yeah, that dude's still skiing. I didn't even know you were Max Marolt.
Yeah, and that goes
We just
back to
started
the
talking
spring
on the
thing.
street.
You're on your bike, I'm going up to ski. It's
Yeah.
the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And you ran into each other in an intersection.
Yeah.
That's it.
How
you
cool is
know?
that?
And then if we care about this place and love it enough, we feel like, and are grateful, we want to give back. Like, for me, I feel obligated to do something. You know, it's like Michelle Obama in the last election said, do something. You know, whatever you do something. Of course, she wanted us
Yeah.
to vote for Kamala Harris. But do something, meaning get involved, do
Yeah.
something, right? Step up. Or step off.
Well,
and
that's
get out of my
that's,
way.
that's how you
And-
meet.
and-
That's how
and-
you meet people. Just makes your life better.
Well, and it
Yeah.
takes courage, and that's one of the reasons why I like Roger's column, because it takes courage to say some of the things that he says, and I think a lot of people they don't understand where he's coming from, because
Right.
unfortunately in this day and age, a lot of the people that read the paper and read his column, that they don't really understand. And let's be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, Aspen is very vogue, very cosmopolitan, and it's got a lot of culture. But now that everybody's gone and it's just the locals, it's a small town.
Right.
And it's like, you know, my wife works out at the airport, and she said that all winter she didn't see anybody she knew at the airport. And then since they opened it, she said everybody that comes through there is a local. It's like a hangout, old time hangout. It's like La Casina or something,
Oh, man.
you know?
Wow. Yeah, I'm always torn like you guys. It's like you love it, but you also hate it, because that's that love-hate or bittersweet of the changes, right, that we don't like. The elitism, the exclusivity, the privatizing downtown, which is what the Mark Ty thing was about, you know, relating to Mark Hunt in downtown Aspen, which you've written about, and Restoration Hardware and their model. And standing up to that kind of, and being at least a
Takes a lot
speed
of
bump,
courage.
right? At least try to slow it down,
Well,
the bulldozer.
I think you got to let people know, as a resident of this place, that it is a town first and foremost, or at least it used to be, and it's sliding into this resort model where nobody lives here. I mean,
Right.
I use the example of Beaver Creek all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody lives in Beaver Creek. It's the most wonderful place in the world to visit, for people to go skiing and have a good time. But nobody lives there. And, you know, that Aspen could very much become that. And I tell that to people who say, well, Aspen's great right now. Yeah, it is great. But, you know, if we continue on the path that we're on, it's going to be great for visitors.
Right.
And because there's not going to be anybody living here to enjoy it.
You know, and we're going to take a break here in a second, but I want to talk about the affordable housing aspect, because to me that is the central issue, right? That's what the environment, transportation, stress and morale, I call it, it all relates to living and working in town.
That's the big
And-
hurdle.
And, you know, of course, the question is, where do you put it? Because we don't really want to come up. Downtown has a 28-foot height limit, which was the pushback from the Aspen Art Museum, which, by the way, shows pushback can be effective. It's also encouraging. So you're not really necessarily going to go up, and then we're down to just open space parcels. You know, but that's a part of maintaining, and in fact, we wouldn't really have a community without our affordable housing. If you want to put it that way, over 3,000 units in town creates most of the population, like myself.
Yeah.
Almost all my friends are gone. They've all left, including girlfriends, which is a whole nother story.
They
It's
might
kind of a
have
dramedy. It's
They
a
might
drama
have left
mixed
for
with
other
comedy.
reasons, Eric.
For other reasons.
I probably should personalize that a little bit more. But you know what I mean? All that free market, like the last of the free market rentals got washed away with
did.
COVID.
Oh yeah.
They did.
And, why rent to some local when you can get that in one night, Airbnb,
That's
or
right.
maybe a weekend,
Yeah.
and rent your place Airbnb.
Yeah.
We
Easy.
saw 3,000 STRs or short-term rentals crop up during COVID in
Yeah.
Pitkin County.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. 70% of the homes in Aspen went to second homes. Not to be depressing, but that's where, too, it's like, do you step off and just go, oh, well, it's so far gone, I give up and throw my hands in the air? Or
You know what?
do we make a stand and try to create more housing opportunities and a local, kind of a critical mass of locals that keeps it a community?
Well, you
Yeah,
you
for
can't lock the gate and tell people not to come. I mean, it is
Right,
America.
no, not about that.
But if you
More
if you
balance it out.
infuse it with some ability for locals to actually live and work here,
Right.
it just makes everything better. And unfortunately, we're at a place where we have to sacrifice some of our open space.
Yeah.
But I think that it's life is not about what you're doing; it's about who you're doing it with.
Right.
And right now, I mean, I'll give you a great example. My wife and I went down to the what's the trout restaurant in Basalt?
Tipsy Trout.
Tipsy Trout.
Trout,
And we laughed so hard.
which was the old
Rainbow Grill.
Rainbow Grill.
we
Yeah. Right
we
on the
went
river.
down there and we saw at least a dozen people
Right.
that were people that we would have seen in, again, La Casina.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy.
Or go to City Market in Elgin
I
and
felt
see
like
the
I
rest
was-
of your friends,
Yeah,
right?
I felt like I
Because
was
they're all
home.
living down valley now.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And Down Valley has got some community, but I mean that's just not sustainable to live down there and work up here. And
right.
so we have to sacrifice something, and
Yeah.
unfortunately we've just built this thing up so big that now we don't have a choice, in my opinion.
Right.
We
Well,
got to bring some local faces that you can see every now and then in town. Otherwise,
got-
otherwise you're just a service person.
and we've got 300 approximate units coming in with lumberyard, which would be across from the airport for people who aren't familiar with the lumberyard project. That's the big one on the horizon.
Yeah.
At $500 million, it'll probably be closer to $1 billion once it's actually built, and
Yeah.
free market construction costs keep going up, as
Yeah.
we know. But we're going to take a quick break, you guys. We got a 2-minute break. We're going to come back, and we're going to dig into some of these open spaces, might we say. And then we're going to talk about ski mountaineering, because I want to get into that.
Okay.
Because, you guys like to ski and mountaineer.
We like to have places to live and we like to ski.
Yeah,
down
there you
here.
go. We want to get into that.
Places to live besides tents on the side of a mountain.
Yeah. We like the skiing.
That's
not the
otherwise
tent
known as
living.
summer affordable housing. The
Yeah.
tent by the river or the van down by the river.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Otherwise known as summer seasonal housing.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, guys. Thank you for joining us on our season premiere with the Marolt boys, including Steve. Steve has shrunken down into the tiny miniature Steve over there in the chair. We're going to give Steve a shout out. I do want to thank Bridging Bionics, Haiti Children, Highlands Ale House, Independence Pass Foundation, Klug Properties, Paradise Bakery, Pitkin County Solid Waste Center, Red Brick Center for the Arts, Sundog Athletics, We Cycle, and the Wheeler Opera House. You guys are awesome for fueling the summer series here on the local show, June through September. We're going to take our only break of the show, guys. We'll be back in just over 2 minutes with the Marolt boys, including young Max in his late 20s, 6th generation. Don't go away. Paradise Bakery and Gelateria is famous for their fresh homemade baked cookies, muffins, and gelato. Locally owned and operated, they're proud of their amazing crew and appreciate locals who've kept them in business, celebrating their 50th anniversary in 2026.
Join the string beans in helping reduce food waste in our community.
Plan menus carefully and only buy what you need.
Collect unused scraps for compost.
Ask for smaller portions in restaurants.
Take home leftovers to eat later.
Donate unopened food to our food bank.
Let's work in concert to reduce food waste.
Community is at the heart of Aspen, and I take great pride in being a part of it. I'm Chris Klug, and as a lifelong Aspen resident, my connection to this community runs deep. My involvement in local events and charities isn't just about giving back. It's about staying in tune with the community I love. Allow me to help you find your place in our incredible community together.
The Wheeler Opera House in the heart of Aspen. Rooted locally, recognized globally. Your destination for music, comedy, dance, theater, and more. Learn more at WheelerOperaHouse.com. Aspen's creative art scene can be found at the Red Brick Center for the Arts, hosting exhibitions by Colorado artists, youth and adult art classes, working artist studios, and nonprofits. The Red Brick is launching the new Aspen Public Art Program. More at redbrickaspen.com. Located slopeside at Aspen Highlands, Highlands Ale House is open daily in the summer for lunch and dinner, offering affordable scratch-made comfort food, delicious beers and cocktails, ideal after your Maroon Bells adventure. Catering, including weddings, are a specialty.
I'm Amanda Buxtell, founder and executive director for Bridging Barnett's Foundation. Our Centre for Neurorehabilitation enables our entire community to get upright and regain mobility. We are where care continues.
Restoring and protecting the ecological integrity of Independence Pass for 36 years. Independence Pass Foundation works with volunteers of all ages to take care of the place we love. You're invited to enjoy and appreciate our extraordinary backyard.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the season premiere of the local show. I'm Eric Scarvin with my co-host Marley in the house. She's 2 years old. She's still getting her TV legs, you guys, if she looks a little nervous. Or smells a little nervous.
Hopefully y'all can
So, talking about affordable housing, you guys, before the break, and I want to wrap this with a nice bow. To me, and I'm not the only one who's come up with this idea. Michael Kinsley, Mick Ireland, I think you even, Roger, may have floated the idea of affordable housing in the Marolt open space, maybe in one of the corners. You know, it's not obviously plopping in the middle of the field there. But what would you support that? I mean, when it's in your own family name, I mean,
100%.
It's beyond your control, but
It's beyond my control.
would you support something like that as one of our very few solutions?
I absolutely would. I think it's the perfect place for affordable housing. Takes people off the highway. Kids can ride their bikes, walk to school. Parents can do the same to their jobs.
Yeah.
Those are members living right in the community. That's what we're really lacking. Those are like supercharged locals who live right in downtown Aspen. So I'm all for it.
Max, thoughts on
Yeah, I'm all
maybe
for
sacrificing a little open space for that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for like pretty much any affordable housing project, and especially on the Marolt open space. I think that would really honor our family legacy, and I feel like I also have like a pretty interesting perspective, kind of being an AHS alum and working out at the school, and kind of my generation missed the chance to buy anything on the free market. And I mean, we really like preach all these values out of the school with our outdoor ed programs and kind of the Aspen core values. And then it really is just a bummer that these kids go off to college and a lot of them can't find a way to get back to the valley. And it was kind of a bummer. I went to my 10-year high school reunion recently, and a general theme was that pretty much everybody in my graduating class wanted to be here but couldn't find a way to do it. So I think it's our duty to try to get those people back in particular, because they have our Aspen values, they know what this town is about, and I mean, they are locals. They lived 18 years here.
Is that wild? And I mean, do you find a lot of them living in the basement at their parents' house and doing that whole thing? Or
yeah, there are definitely some of those,
I mean,
and then it seems like a lot of people living in Denver where they can afford housing, but they're wearing out I-70 trying to get up here and ski and hike and enjoy our mountains.
Yeah.
And really, the people that have made it back have really fought hard to do it, and I think we have a duty to make it a little easier for those people, and really try to get our local kids to be able to come back.
So if there was more housing opportunities, either rental or ownership, do you think a lot more would be up here versus, say, living in Denver?
Yeah.
They would opt to say, if I had more opportunity, I would definitely be living in Aspen.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think they would be valuable members of our community. And really, it's just the difficulty of kind of getting that first foot in the valley. Because if you start looking at trying to rent and get up to that required period where you can really get in the affordable housing, I mean, you're looking at a pretty steep monthly bill just to kind of keep your head above water and get your foot back in this town and in this valley. And I mean, honestly, like with people my age, a lot of the social scene has shifted to Willits and Basalt and Carbondale. And so me and my fiance Althea are actually lucky enough to be in town, but we find ourselves heading down valley to go hang out with our friends, because that's where the people my age are hanging out.
Just like your Uncle Mike was mentioning, I mean, you have to go DV to get, see a lot of your friends and feel that sense of community, which is also sad on many levels, that, we have to travel to go see them. They are not here anymore and all these levels. And I mean, it is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And to see Aspen, get bought out, especially during COVID, where we saw, to me, 10 years of change in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? It was like hitting the gas pedal in Aspen or throwing gas on the fire, that all of a sudden, wham, the last of it kind of got bought out, except for those longtime locals that are holding on to their places, that like to talk about, hey, I want my demolition permit, so they can finally cash out and the next person can come demolish their house or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I'm not fault any of that. But I mean, Mike, what about you? I mean, would you see some housing in Marolt kind of in a appropriate spot, or is that just too much?
I don't have any problem with it at all. I think that I just don't think we have a choice. I mean,
right.
There's just, I mean, in my CPA practice, I've lost a few people to retirement and moving to down valley to work down valley. And I mean, I've been 3 years trying to find one person to do work, and that person doesn't exist. And the few that you find from out of the valley that are interested, the dollars and cents don't make. In order to live here, they got to make so much money.
Right.
And I just, I can't charge enough to make it worth my while or theirs. So, I mean,
the economics just don't work
economics
anymore.
don't work. I mean, even commuting from Glenwood, I mean, it's expensive.
Because it comes down when you have a CPA firm, charging more, so you could pay more to make it worth their while. So if the calculus comes down to charging your clients more, which isn't really sustainable, perhaps.
No, but
then you're not competitive.
It's worse than that, Eric. I mean, it's not even a matter of paying people. You can't find people.
You can't find them.
It just, the talent's just not.
A young CPA has a hard time justifying coming to Aspen without a place to live, and it's true with attorneys, doctors, architects. All the professions are having a very difficult time.
It's a tough time to be a
people.
professional in Aspen. I mean, real estate guys are doing okay, obviously, but and I'm not complaining. I mean, there's a lot of beans to count, in my profession. But you got to have people to count them, and I'm hogtied. I'm stagnated. I mean, so
you can't even hire someone from Glenwood or Rifle.
Well, that's what we're looking at is hiring people remotely.
That's what it's or remote work,
which makes the situation worse. It's a compounding situation that, in my opinion, unless we figure out a way to get people living in town or very close to town, it is going to end up like Beaver Creek.
I think we have 34 park spaces in Aspen. Not to say we can put housing in these little tiny pocket parks, but Marolt is kind of. And the other thing is the golf course just sits out there. And I get it. A lot of guys are really into playing golf, especially the old guys. But I mean, it's like, couldn't that be somehow utilized more? Build one more level up on Truscott or in the main building that used to be the old Red Roof Inn or something. Yeah. But I mean, it goes way back, but there's got to be something in some of these bigger open space parcels.
I mean, my entire life I've spent fighting for open space,
Yeah.
And now
Right, well.
we're not in a position. It's a luxury.
Right, exactly.
It's a luxury that primarily benefits our visitors, which is important to keep it
Yes.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
But it's a tough scenario to work out economically, because eventually we're going to run out of the ability to service our guests, in my opinion. I mean, it's...
Well, for sure. I mean, you need obviously a critical mass for a community. You need a critical mass for the resort, right? For resort employees, as opposed to the hospitality employees. The other thing I see is buy downs, right? It's not like we're going to go buy, or we're going to build new units all over the place at $1 million a unit or whatever it costs now. So I see that as another opportunity. Like people or businesses or organizations are buying entire motels, like in Glenwood Springs. But maybe there's opportunities in Aspen where we're buying older, former lodges or still current small lodges that are on their way out or something like that. Because again, the building opportunity is so rare.
Yeah, it's limited.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
very
slim.
limited. Well, let's move on to something that's a little more unlimited. Climbing and skiing mountains all over the world. There's a lot of them out there. I mean, even in Colorado, it's insane. And you guys have done, Roger and yourself, Mike, and your brother Steve have done a lot of these ski mountaineering trips. And Max, have you started to, I know you like to ski, here in Colorado and backcountry ski. Have you gotten out internationally? And
yeah, so I haven't
done
gotten
some of
quite
that?
to the international yet. Mike likes to lecture me here that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, so I'm kind of gobbling that up while it's still new to me and learning the skills. But
good conversation.
I just love to get out there.
You got to get a lot of miles locally.
So so you're in that kind of progression phase of Colorado skiing, getting that backcountry experience. Hopefully, extracting some really good information from these guys, and and then
for
do you have plans on doing? Sounds like it. Like you'd keep stepping up that way?
So my current goal right now is actually to climb all the Colorado 14ers, so 58 of them, and that's actually something me and my fiance are kind of kicking off the list. The cool little part of that is we always stay in haunted hotels when we travel to go climb those peaks.
Cool. So the peaks aren't scary enough as they are.
Yeah, we got to get a little paranormal in there. Yeah.
And it's Althea, did you say?
Yep, Althea,
Shout out
my
to Althea.
fiance. Yep. Hi, Althea.
Right, Althea. Nice. So that's pretty cool. So that's a summer endeavor or year-round you're doing the 14ers?
Kind of year-round. I've skied a couple, and then we like to hike them too. But with 58 there, and then you look at the local 13ers. There's a lot of stuff out there to where haven't really gotten the bug yet to travel to go ski and climb some of these bigger peaks because there's just so much here. But
what is the
I'm sure it'll
do you
come.
go to do like Rainier? Do you go to South America, or where do you see yourself kind of when you step out of Colorado and keep going upwards in elevation, basically?
So we were actually planning a Shasta trip for this spring, but Raj is getting his health in order, and Steve as well. So we're going to put that off for a year and get the whole crew to do that. It might start with all the 14ers in the contiguous U.S. and then all the 14ers in Alaska, and I guess there's a natural progression there, and I guess if I'm good and nice to my uncles, they might invite me on an expedition down to South America.
You definitely want to get them sweet birthday presents and sweet Christmas presents every year for starter.
They're hard to shop for, though.
If you get them gear, it's probably going to be a win.
Yeah, they actually give me most of the gear,
You
though.
kind of look and see what has the most holes in it. It looks like he really needs a jacket. Another pair of, mountaineering boots.
They actually set you up pretty well.
Yeah, I would say that.
Get you styled out.
Mike and Steve are kind of my sponsors, and I don't care if they're hand-me-downs. I'll take them.
Just a patch, sponsored by Steve and Mike. Or,
I'll take an Evers jacket that has one duct tape patch there.
I love it. Yeah. And Roger, for you, is it more about the skiing or the climbing, or or both equally you love, or is climbing just a means to an end to ski?
Well, I kind of got out of the climbing back when Max was born.
Okay.
And my kids were born, so I sort of cut off of the big expeditions at that point.
Because of the risk and getting hurt and killed and all
that's
that
exactly right. Like my wife knew I was a climber when we got married, and she would tell you the same thing. That's fair game. You know, she knew what she was getting into, but the kids didn't. So you know, that was just like, and I had a lucky kind of experience. It doesn't sound lucky when I describe it, but I had a really serious back infection in my spine the year Max was born. So I couldn't climb that year. I couldn't ski that year. I really pretty much couldn't do anything that year. But I just got to spend time with my kids who were just babies. Yeah. And I was like, this is it.
This is cool.
This is what I want to be. I want to be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, yeah, everything happens for a reason, right?
It was.
So then you're gonna bond with these kids, like.
I know. You know, at the time, I would have said it was the worst thing that ever happened in my life, and I look back and it was the best thing that ever happened.
Having Max or the back thing was the worst thing. First I mess up my back, then I have this ugly kid who everyone says is a good-looking baby, and I just know he's hideous.
I'll just put it this.
He kind of looks like me.
I'll just put it like this.
It's all going wrong.
Max knows the truth.
We'll keep the truth, you know, amongst the family.
In the family, you know, some things, some secrets here.
And Mike, you've gone like to all levels of even up on Mount Everest and skiing up there and writing books and, you know, selling movies. And
Steve and I have just had part of the secret to the success that we've had, we've done just over 60 expeditions to our bailiwick is the 5,000 meter, which is about 17,000 feet, to the 8,000 meters, which is about 26,300. And part of the reason I think, looking back, that we were able to do that is, number one, Steve is my identical twin. And then we grew up with a guy named Jim Guile in the same neighborhood.
Yep.
And the biggest hurdle that Max will have in getting to South America and Asia or up into the Pacific Northwest, you have to have people to go with. And we always say it. I mean, there are a lot of people I know that would love to go out and do what we did, but they didn't have that core group. And I'm always telling Max and his Zach, who's married to his sister,
my son-in-law, just to confuse the
son-in-law. You gotta form that posse. I mean, it started in Aspen. We'd get to the top of a peak and we'd see something else, and we'd go the next day to get that. And then after we did that thousands of times, we decided that we wanted to go to the Pacific Northwest. And I remember we were coming off of Rainier for our third time up there, and Steve said, we're going to Denali. And at that time, I didn't even know what Denali was. and we kept building. But there's never been an expedition in all 60 of those expeditions where I can't just pick up the phone and say, Jim, Steve, this is the peak. They're always boom.
Well, that's so
I've never
huge.
had them say no.
That's that kind of like, it's a self-sustaining momentum. Like, you guys keep each other stoked.
It is. You keep each other stoked, and you keep each other safe.
Motivated. Yeah, and safe. That's the other thing.
Jim Guile
partners.
Jim Guile is a brother from a different mother, and Steve is my brother.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's a really unique aspect to that group. I mean, in the annals of mountaineering, it was coined by Backcountry Magazine as the Three Amigos. It's really unusual to have three guys starting when they're Max's age, you know, in their 20s, even earlier. I mean, I started doing this when I was 12.
Helps to grow up in Aspen, right?
Well, it helps.
Because everything's just kind of like next level. But what's the next level? What's the next thing?
It was playing at first. That's just where we played.
Yeah. And you guys skied like on shale bluffs, didn't you? Like
we skied. I mean,
you,
it was
Steve, and Roger.
So before we get too far away, so this is your way of saying I'm not invited and I need to find my own friends.
Well, what you'll learn very quickly is why in the hell would I want to go with those guys to a mountain? And
it's good point.
I really trust those guys too. So there's respect, fun, camaraderie, trust.
The thing about it is that there's this image, especially with modern mountaineering. People come up with an idea, and they may not even have any background in mountaineering, and they say they approach it like a marathon. Like my daughter's 20 years old. She decided that she wants to do a marathon. So the marathon is the goal. Well, there are a lot of people that decide, I want to go to Mount Everest, and that becomes their goal. And they work hard and they train and they do everything and they raise the money to go and they go and they do it. And the fallout from people doing those high 6, 7, and 8,000 meter peaks is like one and done. Been there, done it. Because climbing those high peaks is not fun. It's enormously satisfying, but it takes many, many years to figure out how to make it fun. And part of the reality that I could go with Steve and Jim, I mean, Jim hit it on the head. I mean, you go into those base camps at those popular peaks, people are scared. And then they come walk by our tent and we're just laughing our asses off. We made it fun, you know, but it's not fun, and it's enormously difficult. And unless you have that cohesive team of buddies that over the years become brothers, that will do anything to prevent something bad from happening, it becomes enormously satisfying. And it's like, here I am, 60 years old, still going to.
Then it's not one and done, because you again you have a momentum.
It's
going
a way of life
with this camaraderie.
Total
where it's
way
not
of
just
life.
a bucket list item where you check it off. No more of that.
Yeah.
It's almost like kind of almost an ego boost, you know, when you're looking at it that way. But also what you said is true. It's pain, it's suffering, it's challenge.
It's arguably the most.
Can I tell you about my last big climb with these guys?
Just throwing up all over them? Or what?
Well, no, it was way worse than that.
Well, out the other? Oh, okay.
Yes. Honestly,
I had a feeling.
it was an 8-day storm on Mount Logan.
Oh no.
Up about 16,000 feet. We're stuck in a tent in a tremendous storm. It hit Denali at the same time, and I think half a dozen people died there.
Oh, geez.
It was a storm of all storms. So 8 days, we got out of the tent one time, and that was when we heard our pilot, our glacier pilot, up above, flying around, and it was actually sunny. So we got out, we started putting our stuff on, we flipped on the radio, and we said, "Hey, Paul, what's happening?" He goes, "What are you guys doing?" We said, "We're getting ready to climb." He goes, "No, you're not. This is a sucker hole. I just came to check to see if you were alive. Get back in your tents right now." And we got back in the tents, and
he comes back in.
So 8 days in a tent, a VE25 North Face tent, 3 of us. You can't leave to take a crap. You can't leave to pee. You can't. I mean, we're running out of food. We're running out of fuel. We're running out of patience. We tried to play cards, but your nerves are too tense. The noise, the darkness, it's just incredible. So we ended up playing solitaire, looking over each other's shoulder without saying a word. I mean, we were literally like cabin fever.
Kind of like zombies, yeah.
So we got out of the tent. We went up to the top. I proposed to my wife on a little summit flag.
Marry me, Susan.
Marry me, Susan. And we came back. It was a month later. We had a slideshow, and that was the last slide of the slideshow.
Oh,
and her, awesome. You know what her response was? Through the tears, "No way!"
I love it. That's a true story.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm glad she came around for my sake.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was the magical combination you needed, Max.
Yeah.
But 8 days.
But you talk about the pain and suffering of mountaineering. That is the epitome of it. That was as bad as it gets.
But then the joy side is greater. Right? I mean, the reward side, the joy side.
Not for me, obviously.
Not?
That was my last climb.
Okay, that was it for you.
And it takes a while to acclimate to that.
You have PTSD after that.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
But it's, you know, and I'm glad that Max is getting into it, and he does get his nose rubbed a little bit because we haven't really reached out to say let's go. Yeah. I wanted to this year, but I have a torn meniscus. But the thing about mountaineering that I learned is that you have to go out with people that are on the exact same page. And mentorship is really important, but mentorship can be, you can get addicted to it. Just like everybody climbs with guides. We never climbed with guides. Right. You get addicted to that. Right. And when you get addicted to guides and mentors, you never learn how to do it. You got to go figure it out. Right. And you got to go and you got to make you're going to make mistakes and you got to learn from them, and hopefully they're not terrible mistakes. And we made a lot of mistakes and we had a lot of close calls. Yeah. But we learned from it, and Max needs to figure that out, and he needs to find a.
I don't think we need to say I need to make mistakes.
Go through some of that school of hard knocks.
Try to avoid them still.
One of the best ways to learn.
You try to
You try to avoid them, but you
can't
can't avoid them all.
You can't avoid them all.
Well, I hope, guys, this has been fun. I hope today was not a huge mistake. Joining me, I'm going to try to make it, assuredly a good experience with the cookies.
Yeah,
there you go.
We're out of time. Did you guys
Awesome.
have a good time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was
you have fun?
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. We'll have to come back because I still want to get into some more stories, but really appreciate it. Wish Steve could have joined us
I
today.
know.
We'll
Yeah,
give him a shout
That
out.
would have been
And
fun.
how many shows have you done? 600?
Over 600 shows now
Woo!
in our 21st season, starting
Wow.
today. So
Man.
Congratulations.
thanks for making that happen.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You got a good thing going here.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a great thing.
It's about, again, the locals and my underwriters who are there for us to keep it going. And
Bravo.
between the inspiring guests like you guys and the incredible underwriters, we're fortunate. So I feel grateful I get to share the best of Aspen with the people here, best of Aspen with the mountains, with Sundog Athletics. That's just awesome. So
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us for our season premiere of the local show. We'll see you next week. Paradise Bakery and Gelateria is famous for their fresh homemade baked cookies, muffins, and gelato. Locally owned and operated, they're proud of their amazing crew and appreciate locals who've kept them in business, celebrating their 50th anniversary in 2026.
Want to live like a local?
Help us reduce food waste, a major contributor to climate change.
You can help in 3 simple ways.
Plan menus carefully and only buy what you need.
Collect unused scraps for compost.
Buy ugly fruits and vegetables.
Reduce food waste.
Live like a local.
From Olympic podium to Aspen real estate, I'm Chris Klug, and I know what it takes to succeed. As an athlete, I mastered perseverance and strategy, qualities I now bring to real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, my dedication and commitment are unwavering. Together we'll navigate the market and achieve your real estate dreams.
The Wheeler Opera House in the heart of Aspen, rooted locally, recognized globally. Your destination for music, comedy, dance, theater, and more. Learn more at WheelerOperaHouse.com. Aspen's creative art scene can be found at the Red Brick Center for the Arts, hosting exhibitions by Colorado artists, youth and adult art classes, working artist studios, and nonprofits. The Red Brick is launching the new Aspen Public Art Program. More at redbrickaspen.com. Located slopeside at Aspen Highlands, Highlands Ale House is open daily in the summer for lunch and dinner, offering affordable scratch-made comfort food, delicious beers and cocktails, ideal after your Maroon Bells adventure. Catering, including weddings, are a specialty. Since 1996, Sundog Athletics offers professional instruction and guiding in 8 mountain adventure sports, including Aspen's exclusive e-biking and canoeing adventures. More at sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to